Hi everyone. I have not done a live in a really long time. I was going to go live with Billy Carson today, but that's been postponed until after I get my wisdom teeth done. But, you know, I just thought that I won't be able to do a live for a couple of weeks, so I might randomly do one today. So thanks for joining me today. You know, feel free to ask questions and stuff like that. I can try and answer some of them. If it's a question I've been probably asked a million times, I might not answer it just to prioritize other ones. But how's everyone doing? Man, it's just such an interesting time right now that I feel like I really had to pull back for July and August because there was just a lot going on, and I think it's really important that we prioritize our own growth first so that we're able to sort of go to the next chapter with things. And certain doors only open at certain times, so you need to take advantage of that, I think. So how's everyone doing? I'm scrolling through. Oh, hi Adrian. How's everything in America? It seems like quite a shit show. Interesting time with the elections coming up in America. Very interesting time. I think that October is going to be probably one of the most interesting months of the entire year for America. And that's based on certain astrological alignments that are happening. And, well, not just because of the elections, but I think it's going to be a bit of a challenging month for Americans. That's all I can say. Trying to scroll down through here. Someone asked me that alien question. I don't think there's one answer for that. Okay, I see your response, Adrian. America's chickens have come home to roost. It's very interesting from being like in another country and observing everything that's going on through different social media pages, through different, you know, mainstream media, alternative media. It is very interesting. You know, I feel sorry for a lot of Americans right now because you guys are going through really quite that that shit show. But you guys are gonna get through it. You guys are gonna get through it. It's gonna be okay. Good morning. I'm just waiting for everyone to sort of come on. So, well, Adrian, I really hope that you're doing okay. You know, I hope that you're doing well, that your health is doing well, and that it's not treating you too badly. It's not so bad if you're a black man in 2020 and I'm half black man, half Latino. I didn't actually know you're half Latino, but I can totally see that. Yeah, I could see that. Oh, okay. We've got Kia Ora from New Zealand. Expecting more UFO disclosure this year. Hell yeah. It's everywhere, isn't it? For the person who's asking the temperature here, it's winter in Australia. We're in our last month of winter. So I've been rugged up for the past few months. Hello, Alex. I'm really excited for the UFO disclosure that I know is really going to happen. It really over the next 10 years, that's really going to have a lot of light shed on it. And it's so in the mainstream media now. I don't think it's going to be strange to discuss aliens or extraterrestrials or elements that might be from another planet when it comes to our sciences and physics. Hello from Florida, USA. So I just want to make sure that everyone is putting their own health and their own emotional, mental health as a priority at the moment, because there is a lot of alternative media which might seem helpful and might seem like it's shedding light on things, but it's actually really causing a lot of stress in people. It's causing a lot of paranoia and fear, and so I really want to make sure that you guys are just rain checking, you know, on yourself, and not getting too carried away with certain things that are going on right now, because it's a lot to process. And I know that old systems are falling and breaking down, but you're not that useful if your energy field is not being restored. You're not that useful if you don't have that grounding that you're really going to need with all of the energies that are really dominating this year. Just reading through. Okay, so someone commented, just seen that they divided the states in Australia, stopping all the borders. No, this is not okay. I really want to clear something up. I know that it's not your fault. People are just, you know, you can only see what the media is telling you. I really want to clear something up with what is going in Australia. It is not extreme like the media is portraying, and this is where the alternative media comes in that pisses me off. They come in, and there might be a foreign, you know, alternative media, so they'll report on something happening in another country, but they don't actually know what's going on, and they're already coming from a fear, paranoia perspective, so they're just putting it on steroids, like conformity, they're controlling us, it's this Orwellian system of, it's just like, oh my God, it's so painful for me to watch. It's really not that bad in Australia. My state is fine. There's only 2 states that I think that have some closures, and that's the Victorian state. We have states just like America and a lot of other countries. You guys have California, you guys have you know, New York and Texas or whatever. We just have the same thing. We don't have as many, but there was a couple of breakouts that they were, you know, claiming with coronavirus. Very small numbers. I'm talking like 300. Nothing like what you guys have in the States. I don't know. That's the way that the government's, you know, chosen to go about it. But, you know, my state's fine. I can still travel to many states within Australia. It's just 2. Okay. There was also a video about a woman who was her neck with, you know, there was this video where she was in chokehold, and oh my, even Billy Carson sent me this video, and he was like, what's going on? Like, how can they do that in Australia? They're strangling a woman. And I don't come from a biased perspective. I go, I need to see more evidence to be able to evaluate this, because there's so much propaganda bullshit, and just, they don't show the whole picture. They'll take something from a video and then they'll go to some extremist theory on it. This video that's really going viral, doesn't really show everything that happened. And I was like, okay, why is he choking her? Did she do something to aggravate it? And if you actually research into it, she actually attacked the police officer first. Not even the male one. She attacked the female one. That the female one actually got physically injured and had to go to the hospital. She was physically aggressive towards the police officer. She wasn't peaceful or anything, even though apparently she was exempt from wearing a mask, that's the only state in my whole country that has mandatory masks. That's it. Everywhere else is normal. You know, we're working back at normal. It's fine. It's just the one state, and that's it. And it was because a lot of people were breaking certain quarantine rules, which there's plenty of evidence to suggest that. So just let's all calm down when we see certain alternative media as well, because they're just going to make you go, oh my God. And this is an energy war. You have to be aware of your energy through this whole entire process. You can preach all you want. You can say how much you know and how woke you are and how much stuff you're trying to expose. But if your energy's not right, and the energy of what you're putting out is not right, you're really back at square one. You know, you have to consider things on a multidimensional level. This is constantly what I try and tell people. They're like, what can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, you need to work on your own energy. Do you know you have an energy field? Can you feel it? Do you know when it changes in its vibration? Are you able to understand and decipher your reactions on an emotional level? If it's triggering something, why it's making you feel a certain way, why are you feeling fear a certain way? You need to work on that shit first. Like, you need to do that first. Spread awareness. I get it. I've been doing this for how many years now? But everything is quite simple, and everything comes back to certain core fundamentals. Everything on a universal level. I feel like people on this planet, the way that they digest information or decipher information is not that intelligent a lot of the time. It is very... It only goes on the surface and that's it. They sort of don't go to those core fundamental problems at all. It's just these surface traumas and triggers that they're constantly just living in. I think it must be very interesting for extraterrestrials to observe the way that humans are operating and vibrating and just processing everything and how they react to everything. Because humans don't even understand that about themselves. So don't worry too much about all of that outside detail. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you have a cake, it might be the prettiest looking cake, it might have all of this detail and blah, blah, blah. But what is the actual cake taste like? What is the quality of the actual inside of the cake? That's the stuff that we need to be focusing on. The core ingredients to the system that we're existing in. But you can't do that. You can on certain levels, but you're always going to come back to your inner self and working on that. You have to do that. You will only go so far in your own soul evolution until you can actually take those things internally. And some people go, oh, but they don't really understand what I mean when I say your vibrational level. Your vibration is your level of... It's certain levels of consciousness that we can achieve even within this dimension. It's the merging of yourself, which is the higher resonating aspects of yourself, which are on in our other dimensions. You can merge it here and pull it here. So that higher vibration can come into this dimension. That is more powerful than any alternative media page in existence here. Your own frequency is very powerful. It can affect every person that you meet along in this journey. It can have an impact on them. So energies in other dimensions can actually channel through you. They can transmute energy through your vessel here, through consciousness. It's binding. It connects everything together. It's not something which is in the mind, something that exists in there. What I've heard supposedly woke pages, and I'm not trying to attack them or put them down, but I feel sad when I hear them try and talk about consciousness like it's from the mind. And I'm like, whoa, and you're trying to educate people about the stuff, and like I get scared because not scared, but I get, you know what I mean? I'm like, you're trying to help people, but okay, if you don't have those core fundamental understandings correct, what are you teaching people? What influence are you having on people? There's a lot of people who just want to talk and say how much they know all the time, you know, but there's very few people who are, or even in the conscious community, who are actually connected to themselves on a multidimensional level. I think it's very, very important for people to understand this. Sorry, I haven't been, my thing is paused on my chat, so I haven't seen what any comments have been saying. So let me just go down. Give me a second. Oh gosh. So, hey, what's up, Kenton? So, Kenton actually showed me this really interesting video of, you know, whether it's real or not, we don't really know. There's no really solid evidence, but it was a video of, I'm changing the topic slightly, but it was a video of Lebanon. Now, I really wanted to talk about this today because my good friend, a very close friend of mine, Manal, actually was present for the attack in Lebanon. She lives in the city of Beirut, and so her and a number of other people say that they heard a jet or a drone or something in the air before the explosion. Multiple people said that. Now, these people live in the Middle East. She used to live in Syria. A lot of these people are educated on, and they know the sounds of missiles. They know that stuff. It's not complete. It's not like in us Western countries where we haven't been exposed to anything like that. Even though Lebanon is not, you know, it's not exactly like the surrounding countries, but those people still know. They're still aware. They've traveled all around there. They have had exposure to that sort of weaponry. And the video that Kenton sent me was a video that they did it in the heat, contrast color, and you could see that there was something shot and fired towards the pier area. And there's multiple videos, so no one can say, you know, if it's true or not, because, you know, it's really hard because there's so much video editing and video stuff that happens. And I went to film school, so I'm fully aware of how real the stuff can look. But I really do think that it was attacked. I think that Lebanon was attacked, and I think it involved Israel. Now, Hezbollah is an extremist group which comes from, I think it's Iran. Yeah, not Iraq, I'm pretty sure it's Iran. And, you know, they had all of these chemicals stored there. And so it took the government such a long time to admit that they had it there because it was at their fault already. And so that's basically why they were like, they resigned. But whether that really means anything in those countries, I'm really, really not sure. But I definitely think that it was Israel. I'm not even doubting that. Okay, and I think Israel has a lot of power that people underestimate. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now that a lot of Western countries don't see, which is happening in, you know what I mean, what's happening in Palestine right now, and the attacks that are happening from Israel. Next level. I do predict that the world will see certain power re-emerge from the Middle East. Something big is going to come out of the Middle East in the future. It's going to change the world. I think there's going to be a certain leader that comes up, and it's hard because I have to evolve the logical research and journalism side to the actual psychic side and mediumship side of everything that I do, and the people that I work with who are incredibly talented people. And so they can see certain things in timelines as well. You can access this stuff. You can access stuff in the Akashic records. You're actually not limited to this one timeline. Did you know it's so normal for some people who were sort of born on this level where they could just access other dimensions through their astral body and have that information consciously, you know, they can remember it and acknowledge it here in this dimension. That's an incredible ability. Again, the government uses that. It's called remote viewing. If you can go, I recently posted the CIA documents that go all about the holographic universe and, you know, the massive secret black ops programs that they've had, which involved this type of research and experimentation. So there's the comment about the base in the Middle East. There is a massive portal that exists in Iraq, in Baghdad. It's not the only one, but it's a massive one. And yes, there is a US military base on top of it. Yeah. So I do think that a lot of activity is in regards to portals. Now there's different types of portals. I think some people think of stargates and then they think of portals as being the exact same thing, and I don't think they're the exact same type of thing. And when I talk about remote viewing and people going through the astral body experience, that's got to do with your physical body not leaving this dimension through extracting this information. It's using your astral body. Whereas some of these portals, I think, or stargates at least, can actually transfer the physical vessel through time and space. But I don't think that everybody can access all of them. And I think that's the difference between certain stargates and portals. I really don't think the human body is even resonating on a level where it could even handle that type of thing. And yes, it's got to do with energy, ley lines, the grids, and all that type of thing. And you really can research more into doing astral projection yourself. I don't recommend it for everyone though. If you don't feel like it's right, you feel a bit scared, just don't do it. You're not ready for that yet. You don't have to have an open third eye the whole time. That's another thing that I really, really want to stress. Everyone's trying to open their third eye and they want to be really cool and feel superior in some way. And I'm sorry to laugh, but I'm laughing because it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, like the amount of stuff that I see on social media now, which is all about just trying to open the third eye. If you are not ready to open your third eye completely, then maybe you need to do some other stuff before you even think about jumping to that. And that's why I always keep talking about the heart chakra. Focus on the heart chakra. That is going to be your navigational tool for when you do open it. I've heard a number of different people who were supposed to be at high mediumship levels, and they're here to help people and they're doing light work and stuff, and they're trying to tell everyone about the third eye and that's the key and they should open. And it's like, whoa, there's plenty of evil people in the world that have an open third eye too. Your third eye is not bias. You get it? It's not biased to good intention or negative intention. It just delivers. The amount of people who are not ready to have their third eye open and have it open, or get some obsession with trying to open it, or do something where they take a psychedelic that they're not even ready for and do it, you get hijacked. That's what I like to call it. Your third eye will get totally hijacked. You have no fucking idea what you were doing at all. I'm not telling you to fear it. I'm telling you to be aware that there's other components that you need to master, or at least practice along with doing that. And that's why you hear all of these scary stories from people, and then they're like, Jesus saved me. I called upon Jesus when this demonic thing was attacking me and stuff. And I'm like, okay, again, you're opening your third eye or consciously using your third eye. It's not bias to whatever type of energies exist universally, interdimensionally. It's just a gateway to accessing information. But it's a door that you have to know that other energy forms can walk in and out of. So just be careful when you're doing that sort of thing. Practice opening your heart chakra, because that's sort of more effective. It's like buying in a really expensive technology that you don't know how to operate. You know what I mean? It's like getting a camera and then there's all these manual functions and you really want to use it, but you don't know shit about it because you haven't actually practiced all of those other components on the gadget. Well, your body is that gadget, the physical vessel. And then you've got consciousness, which is like the light that goes through and makes the magic happen of the camera. You know, I'm just trying to be basic here so people don't get overwhelmed. But you've got to understand those other things. You've got to understand your heart chakra, because that, again, is your navigational tool. It's the thing that's going to help you be able to effectively understand or how an energy is resonating and how to go about things. And I mean, I just can't stress it enough. You know, I'm trying to think of ways that everyone is going to understand this. Yes, but it's a very important thing to understand, because I'm tired of seeing people just push the third eye the whole entire time. But anyway, if you guys got other questions that, you know, that you want to talk about, that you want to focus on, and yeah, thank you to the people that understand how important that was. Yeah. There's a lot of powerful people in the world that are not benevolent and have an open third eye. And that's how you know that the current world events, not even just current, but a lot of negative things that can happen, it's not necessarily from this dimension, the core influence. It's definitely interdimensional. It's layered. We need a proper Earth defense system. What do you mean? Like a military defense system against extraterrestrials? Are you talking like, or are you talking about interdimensional interaction? Because we do have a defense system. All of our vessels are a defense system, and consciousness itself. It's just we don't know how to use it. It's already here for that type of stuff. I feel like I'm remembering, but I don't know what's truth and what's not. And I see so much. Again, it's really an inner thing that you're just going to have to do. And you're going to have to understand that you're really in a lower resonating dimension, and you're not going to be able to understand everything straight away. But then, you can acknowledge that you have energies around you that can actually assist you. Much deeper topic that I'm not sure everyone's ready for in this live, but it's something that you can interact with consciously here from this dimension, and everybody can access that. I think once you start becoming aware that reality is multidimensional and you consciously interact with that, the less scared I think you become of certain things. Thoughts on Planet Serpo and the government exchange program with the Ebens. I know that Linda Moulton Howe talks a lot about the Ebens as a race, but there are so many other races, in my opinion. I've heard everything from certain humans being traded and things being traded from this planet with off-planetary beings for a multitude of different reasons that I don't think we can even comprehend at the moment, because we don't know much about other species. But I really don't have a definitive answer to it, to any of it, because I think that there's so much disclosure that would have to happen before we can even really grasp, other than what certain whistleblowers are saying. You know, I've been to real talks, you know, with Linda Moulton Howe, Paula Harris, some of the best ufologists in the world who have dedicated their life to exposing this information. But none of them have a definitive answer. But they can tell you, I know Paula Harris is one of the most interesting stories ever, but she can definitely, she's like, oh, they're real. They're really, really here. and humans are probably not that ready for it yet. Very small groups of people. And the ones that are probably more ready for it are really not the Western countries. They're really, really not, because they're so subject to, or even, I mean, I'm living in Australia, we're so subject to certain levels of programming, which are really not the best combination. It would probably be more of the indigenous countries. I definitely would say Latin America probably has so much more in their history that just involve any country that really, India, countries that involve acknowledging beings that exist in other dimensions. I just think that they might take it a little bit more easily. The rogue aliens. I don't think that all extraterrestrial species would be benevolent. I think that there's plenty of self-serving ones. Definitely. Why wouldn't there be? I know that there was a comment that was saying there's no rogue aliens. I think that they're referencing their agenda. I think, if I'm not mistaken. I heard greys are future humans. Do other races have past and future versions of their race as well, since time is relative? Bit of a complex question. From my understanding, greys are really broken down into so many different groups and this is based on a lot of ufologist research, channeling research, abductee experiencer research, stuff like that. There's so many different groups, but the most concerning thing is that they're clones, from my understanding. So they're not really feeling empathy in a way that a human might, and I think that's what's kind of dangerous about it. I kind of think that they work for other species, if you know what I mean. Could they be future humans? Sure, there might be some future humans that might have evolved or physically look like that, but I don't think the current greys are specifically that, if that makes any sense. Obviously, this is a very complicated question that I'd have to write an essay on to actually be able to answer properly. The other question about clones, about physical humans, I think that they've probably had this technology for a really long time. Like the human race. I think other species have had this, races have had this for thousands upon thousands of years. But I do think that humans have had this for much longer, and that it's being, or has been, experimented in private science laboratories and stuff like that. I think it's all private. I don't think it's, everyone blames the government, but I don't think the government is necessarily involved in all of these projects. I think that a lot of them are privatized. You know, corporations, large corporations, you know, might be involved with that type of thing. But there would be certain military involvement. Yes, that would involve the government, but to an extent, it would be compartmentalized from the government itself. Probably highly. Yep. So the person commenting on the Evens, yeah, I'm well aware that they're it's in relation to genetic engineering. That's not the only race that has been associated with it, though. There's many in different, like, this is coming from a certain perspective of research. That's the truth in all of my years of doing this research. I'm just reading through. I mean, I think Linda Mollenhauer is a great person to go to for this type of research, although it's really secret whistleblower stuff, and that's all we can go by. Just reading. The person asking me about the world being a flat dome and not a planet, no. We don't talk about that here. Tesla didn't say those things. They are incorrect quotes which have been morphed, and they've just stuck Tesla's face on these quotes. He didn't say it was a realm at all, even though in a way you could consider this a realm as a dimension, as a limited dimension, but it's not flat, it's not a dome, and everybody knows we don't discuss it here. Sorry, it's just something I can't stand. I think it's absolute infiltration. I think anybody who's really conscious does not associate themselves with any type of flat dome talk. They are like people who think that they're awake but don't actually, like, they take heavy substances to be able to access other dimensions, which that's a huge, unless you're a shaman and you take that approach, that is a really red flag for me. Huge. I do not fuck with people like that, because those people have zero idea of their own infiltration of their own energetic systems. So anything to do with the flat dome thing, I just don't discuss it here. I don't go into that. Tesla absolutely assumed in his research. You can go onto my page. Actually, I don't know if I fully put that on my... I put some of his documents on my page, but maybe I should make another post that actually is just focused on the flat earth Tesla documents. But he never said that. He didn't agree with any of that. His technology worked with a spherical system. His technology wouldn't work. He worked with elements from the ionosphere, and it wouldn't be possible on a flat earth or a dome thing. And he even drew in his own documents and scientific paperworks. You can see in his patents that he's drawing a globe shape. There is no reference to a flat dome thing. There is no reference in existence of Tesla's work where he talks about the earth just being a realm. And it's really silly to think that, I mean, not saying that you're silly, but whoever came up with that, to think that earth is just a realm is the most God-forsaking, limited perspective on how grand this universe is. I just can't stand that shit. Water is always level. No, it ain't. Oh, please do not bring me into this flat earth shit. Please don't. I can't. Even Billy, I wish Billy was here and we would just shut everything that a flat earther will bring to the table down. Is just such a time waster, and it really fucking ruins people who are trying to awaken. It really fucks them up. Like, it fucks them up to the point where they don't even know what's real anymore, and they're like, oh my God, everyone's lying to me. Everything's a lie. Everything's not real. Like, they just start going down this journey, and then they separate themselves, and then they separate themselves into this exclusive flat earther perspective. And it's like, whoa, what are you doing? This is like, do you even understand what you will sabotage your relationship to Gaia, this planet. If you understand sacred geometry, you will understand how sacred the spherical shape is. You know, the reasons the Egyptians even worshipped scarabs was because of the spherical dung shape. Even though it sounds so gross, it was the spherical dung shape that they would create, And that was so symbolic to the Egyptians, even though there might have been like distortions in their teachings, and some aspects of Egypt through time might have believed that the earth was flat or something like that, but not overall and not in their original teachings. So I am so sorry, but the water is not always level. And let's just end that there. So anyone who's not understanding that, please study some physics. I'm studying physics right now. I'm doing an online course. Someone said bring in Billy. I know I was supposed to bring in Billy, but we were supposed to do a talk this morning, but it's been postponed. Yeah, look what you guys started. Yeah. But anyway, that's actually why that was one of the biggest reasons that they worship the scarab beetles, was because of the spherical shape that they did. It's just extremely symbolic. It's very, very important to understand in sacred geometry. So anyway, moving on. Let's move on. Let's move on, guys. I'll go through and I'll do some questions because it's probably not much time left. But let's do some questions. Throw some questions at me. Again, I want everyone to take care of yourself, you know, and your mental health and your energetic health right now, because I know that everything's such a shitstorm everywhere. No, Alex, I haven't talked to him about that particular topic, but he did study, but really did study at MIT for a while, in neuroscience. So he would probably be able to expand on that a lot better. Do you have any advice on anxiety creeping in? Yeah, I do, because a lot of people have been feeling that recently, and you're going to feel it a lot more coming up. So I would suggest Qigong. Please, I've talked about it so many times. Qigong is going to allow you to build a relationship with your energy and your energy field. You're going to become more conscious of the chi and prana energy running through your body. Humans do not, they have this fucking just non-existent relationship with it. Like, they're not conscious of it at all. Please, it's the first steps. In my opinion, at least, it will really, really help you. Second of all, go out into nature. Just go outside. Go for a drive, wind your window down, and allow the wind to blow in your face, because there's natural elements. They have such a special way of being able to ground you. So just go. That's why the pictures I saw koalas and kangaroos. I was craving to just get out, go in to see beautiful nature, and just have moments of appreciation and gratitude. It will ground you, and it'll distract you from the bullshit that's going on right now all around the world. Take time to just have R&R days and get off social media. Don't do this every single day. 24/7. It's very hard to not do that. I don't have TikTok. I signed up for TikTok originally because I didn't really realize all its connections to China and stuff like that with the data. But it was just something that was happening, and I was like, okay, let's check this out. Maybe I can use it as a platform. I totally removed myself from it because that shit is such a time waster. You will spend so much time on TikTok, and it's just bullshit. It's just like people farting energetically, and they're just like, they're in each other's farts. I know that sounds the most grossest analogy ever, but I gotta make it a bit humorous because it's scary the amount of time people spend on that sort of stuff. It's a time waster. Like, you could be doing something towards your own success or growth or something, and there's nothing. It's absolute brain fart stuff. If you're feeling an information overload, that is a clear sign that you're not meant to be learning a whole ton of shit right now. I'm getting really casual with my conversation, sorry. It means that you need to just go out into nature or something, walk along the beach. You don't need to be constantly taking in this type of information. You will overload energetically. You will burn yourself out. You won't have any more room for the good stuff to come in. You got to let stuff process. So, you know, don't let yourself overload like that. So I get worried about people, you know, they're not. I don't have Snapchat either. Why do you need Snapchat? Why? To do what? Like pick a couple of platforms that you like the most and just sort of deal with that. You don't need every single, like, you could be doing something towards your own career. I mean, we're still in this dimension. You still have to make money. You can still achieve certain things. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you could be working towards something. You know, just read a fucking book. Read a book. You don't need all this social media shit all the time. Do you know what I mean? Don't follow pages where you learn jack shit. Where you learn nothing from them. If you have an appreciation for a certain famous person, okay, whatever. I get that. But don't follow pages that just make you lose energy in here and in here. And living through your heart chakra, someone asked me that earlier, huge difference in just the quality of your overall life and what you're getting out of it. You will just process things differently. So you'll be able to feel negative energy in a different way. Even when you start gossiping about someone, you'll actually start to react to that because living through your heart center, it just doesn't want to have that bias. You know, that human bias that we have in this lower dimension and how we process things. It's not, it's like toxic. It's able to filter toxicity. And it's able to guide you from understanding what is a good choice, what is like a not so good choice. And it allows you to connect with your multidimensional self just as much as your third eye in many ways. Your third eye will be able to join it maybe in through like different levels of sight through your what's it called, your sensories. That's what the third eye will do. But your heart chakra can still bring you, it will open you up in a space where you'll still be able to process things on a multidimensional level, but in a much more grounded way. I really hope that helps. It's hard being put on the spot sometimes to say it in a short way. Okay, so, all right, let's move on to the next topic. What do you guys want to talk about? I've got a few little notes that I'm getting my wisdom teeth out tomorrow, by the way, and I know, again, everyone was sending me a lot of messages saying, don't get your wisdom teeth out. Oh my God, don't. It's the worst thing in the world. I don't want to have to get my wisdom teeth out. Nobody wants to have to get their wisdom teeth out. I'm totally aware of how many nerves are connected to it and how intricately, you know, binded everything is into your brain and stuff like that. I'm well aware of that. But when your health, you know, starts turning bad because of it, it only reiterates why you should take it out, because it is so binded and intertwined in its connections that if it's going, you know, sour, you need to take it out. It's bad. It can give you serious health problems and it can kill you. If you don't remove certain teeth or you let certain things get infected, things like that, your tooth can actually kill you, because that is how powerful those nerve connections and stuff like that are. But that's the same reason why you need to remove them sometimes. Ideally, if you had a perfect jaw and growth and everything like that, that's amazing. But if you you know, don't have, like, I've got a small jaw, for example, so they don't all fit, and so they give it that, you know, your teeth in front are going to get cavities. It's going to lead to root canals. It's going to lead to more major surgeries that you're going to have to do. Seriously. It's not that I'm just worried or about my alignment. It's actually that I do not have enough room in my jaw for the teeth to grow in a healthy way. So, and someone's telling me to only get one out at a time. I can't only get one out at a time. It is a very expensive process for that to happen. And it will take a lot of healing and taking time off work to do that. Whereas if you actually do them all at the same time, you can just get them all at once, and the healing time will be almost the same amount of time. I can't afford to be taking a week or two off work every month for the next, you know what I mean? Do you get it? So that's realistic. Get them all out at once. I have to get the general anesthesia for it. I know that it's not what I really, really want, but due to the placement of it, it's going to be extremely painful if I was awake to get them. I actually have had one removed, and I was awake for that, and it was probably one of the most traumatizing things I ever did, due to the location of a certain nerve, which was near this one. And that's why I didn't get them out for the longest time. And so it reached a point where the dentist was like, if you don't get these out, we're actually going to have to remove the other ones in front of it as well. So I just want people who keep telling me to not remove them to be, do you want me to get twice as many removed in the next year? Because it's good. That shit's got to happen. It's got to come out now. Okay. Is waking up inevitable, or some people die believing in no God? But yeah. You know what? Not everyone is going to awaken in this lifetime. Like, more than half the people, they're not going to wake up. That's why I'm like, I'm not here to try and tell everyone to open their fucking third eye all the time, because I'm like, they're not even going to understand this stuff in this lifetime. Everyone thinks that this is it. This life, it's just the ascension life. And that's it. That's just this timeline. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. And there's really no hurry. There's no urgency. And you don't have to do everything and understand everything in this goddamn lifetime. Calm down, people. This is how absorbed people are in trying to become powerful or something. Like, just calm down. You know, it's like sometimes like the turtle in the hare. A lot of people just trying to be the hare and open the third eye and shit. And I'm like, sometimes the turtle wins. Sometimes the turtle just gets there in a much more, better way. It's not as traumatic, to just, doesn't mean slower either, being the turtle, the tortoise, whatever it is. Yeah, there's people who are just never going to understand anything that I blog about ever in this lifetime, and that's fine. Have you ever heard of Hat Man, or what dimension he comes from? Do some research. It's like a world phenomenon. Yeah, well, maybe I can look it up because I'm not sure. I'm not familiar, or at least right now. From what I can remember. Reading. Oh no, you've asked me about the Cardi B music video. Anyone who follows my stories knows how I feel about Cardi B. Cardi B is somebody who's not very conscious. I'm not here to hate on people and individuals. I'm not trying to judge her background and how she grew up and stuff like that. I'm really about women expanding, but I really feel so heartbroken when I see music videos like that, and I see artists just walking around and being that influence or that powerful status of influence, and all they're spitting out is absolute fucking trash on an energetic level. A lot of people don't understand what happens on an energetic level. The exchange between certain medias and visuals and stuff like that, and words. They've got no idea of this stuff. Cardi B is obviously completely unconscious of what she's even doing in her video. And I had some girls who were trying to back up the Cardi B video, and I just was like, whoa, you've got no fucking idea what you're talking about. I felt sorry for them, because they're like, there's just girls dancing. It's just girls dancing. It's fine. Like, power to the women. Like, proud of this sexualization of everything. Like that, I just kept hearing shit like that. And I'm like, coming from people who can't see energy, who can't feel energy, who got no idea that they're multidimensional beings and that their energy is a bigger language than just movement. Movement is energy. So all these things that they're portraying are over sexualization to the point where they think that is their strongest power of sex. It's sexuality. You know, it's power of the pussy stuff. That stuff sickens me, because that's from your programming. You think that that's your power. That is a programmed thing. You know, I hope Cardi B realizes one day. I really don't want to bring anyone down. I don't enjoy bringing women down when I see this shit. It's not pleasurable for me at all. I don't enjoy it. I hope that they realize that what they are doing is really shitting on the power of women. You know how long it took me for men to actually listen to me when they were just making sexual comments about me or interested in me intimately? When I first got on, when Billy started to help share my posts and stuff, I just had to deal with all of that. And I was, it was very hard for an intellectual woman to be able to talk about certain things. And I was like, I don't represent any of that type of stuff. Like, what's going on? And it was the programming that men were under. And women have completely fallen for it too. I'm not a man hater. I don't believe in hating men and bringing men down. I think there's a lot of good men that are out there that do support women rising, and they're not threatened by it. And I think that that's amazing. And I do believe in equality. But those videos just show how women know nothing about their own power. They don't know what they are. They have no idea about the sacred geometry in their own vessel and what it does, what it's used for. I sometimes imagine, or I can feel like higher evolved women in other dimensions that just feel so sad when they have to watch the human female species just shit on themselves. It's nothing. It's just like this toxic cycle between men and women right now. And I don't support things like strip clubs and stuff like that, and sex workers in those sorts of things, because the energy exchange is one of the worst exchanges on this planet. So women will be there losing energy, thinking that they're powerful because they got the men's attention, and men are weak sexually for them when they're being all hypersexualized, right? And then the men are just there, and they're weakening their own energy state to what they're seeing visually. They barely can control themselves. It's just like both genders are losing themselves to each other. That's it. The female energy tries to overcompensate her masculinity because she's trying to be powerful like a man. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are you doing? You just like, you think that you're powerful because you're acting like what a man does to be powerful? You're pulling from the wrong basket. Yeah. And, vice versa. Okay. 17 seconds remaining. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I love it when people hang around for, the whole hour. I love you guys very much, and I'm going to try and save this video and put it up my YouTube if you do want to check it out later, or if you do want to send it to somebody else. Mwah.